At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right, happy Monday, everybody. I know I hate saying that too. The words when they leave my mouth just sometimes make me want to throw up. Not gonna lie. Post Super Bowl, post ugly weekend for the Razorbacks. We do have some recruiting news. We're gonna touch on all of it. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on? Hey, all right. Let me get a swig here of Coke Zero. You'll be surprised. I'm drinking a Coke product in the Hudson household. It's happening. It's about the only good product Coke has is the Coke Zero. That's it. I will say, I think Arkansas fared better when Pepsi was running things. I'm just saying. I'm just making an observation. Don't hurl your nasty flat Coke sodas at me, please. Okay? They taste flat. Sorry. I'm just kidding. Listen, we all have our preferences on soda. Hey, do me a favor. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. If you're new here, welcome. We subscribers blew up in the last 3 weeks. We've had quite the growth. A little stagnant there. Especially when I left to go do things with Hogville, helped build that channel up. Went stagnant. Didn't lose many, but gained few. A lot of my viewers went over to Hogville, and they come back, and there's still a good working relationship between myself and Hogville. Actually, might be meeting up with maybe Dudley Dawson this evening at the Odd Soul. So we're probably going to talk a little baseball, and I'm going to help him with some things. Looking forward to that. Dudley's the man. Dudley and Otis Kirk are awesome. Good people. Glad I got the opportunity to work with those guys. Lanny, all of them. Glad I got to work with them. Shout out to Patreon supporters and, of course, viewers like yourselves, whether you're a part of the Patreon club or not. Shout out to all of you guys, really, but especially Patreon and those of you who are in the $8 plus club. You're all-stars. You're all-stars, each and every one of you. How about Direct Service Overhead, the show's very first sponsor, and they're still so today. They offer same-day services, emergency service 24/7, 365 days a year, free estimates, quality parts, affordable outcomes. From Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company. Give them a call today, 501-244-3667. They are waiting on your call if you need some work done on your garage door. Apex Tattoo Studio, located in Arkansas. Of course, they're located in Arkansas. Located in Rogers, Arkansas. 201 South 19th Street. Sweet Pea in Rogers. They are welcome. Walk-ins are welcome. It's been a long morning. I broke a bowl. I dropped a bowl this morning. I almost broke another one of my only other whiskey glass that I have. It's not been a very good morning. Apex Tattoo Studio offering discounts on the tap out sessions on any work done. If you're looking to get some ink work done, again they're in Rogers. They're going to give you a discount if you mention Tuss Talk with Ty. Give them a call today, 479-278-2694. And then last, definitely not least, the Odd Soul, which is where I'm hoping I'm going to be at this evening. The Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzaria, if you want to stop by, watch some basketball, some baseball on the TV, they've got it. They've got like, I don't know how many TVs in that bar, quite a bit. All kinds of good stuff on tap, local IPAs, and of course, you guys know how I be when it comes to the pizza at the Odd Soul. It is fantastic. All right, let's get to chat here. Let's read it. Corey Lebhart with a $10 super chat. I appreciate that. Aaron Harbison. Oh, I love the comment, man. Listen, you guys, I get a lot of shit hurled at me. I really do. Not as much as I used to, especially since doing live content. I don't get as much because haters that just want to hate do not go through. They're not going to sit through a live show. They're just not. Some of them do. Most of them do not. When I did edited content, I mean, good God, you know, the like to dislike ratio was still 99% likes. But it's hard when you get a compliment, man, especially when you're a small channel like myself. I really do appreciate it. And Aaron says the streams make the Monday better. I do appreciate that, man. That means a lot. It really does. I mean, there's some days you open this app up and it's just brutal. I mean, it's people taking shots at you, whatever way they can, they're going to do it. And you guys know I got thick skin. If you got a good fat joke, I'll laugh at it. Okay? The neckbeard stuff is like, it's just not, it's so old. It's so 2014, the neckbeard. But like, if you got a good fat joke, I'll laugh at it. But it's good to get the, it's good. It's good seeing the compliments. I do appreciate it. It was holding. So Scott Swindle, boy, oh boy. I don't even want to enter that conversation. I did take another look at it this morning. Last night, it definitely to me looked at best controversial. I hate that Kansas City won that way. I think we saw far worse holding in that game. I think by the book, it's even, I don't know. You know, you can make continuous contact within 5 yards. In fact, the initial hold happened, if I looked at the screenshot correctly in the video, it happened behind the line of scrimmage. And then downfield, you see him put his hand on his back. He also has his arm around his back, but there's no tug. There's no pull. He's got his arm, like you can see his hand. If you can see his hand on his back like that, that's not a hold. A hold is a full wrap, or if you prevent him from completing his route. You can argue maybe there was second contact within 5 yards. Now, I didn't know that was a rule. Of course, Mr. Argue with a Wall, Will Watkins, who's going to debate all during live chat, and I really just don't care. But at the same time, I think we saw far worse holding in that game. Listen, whether that was a flag or not, I tell you what, I'll let you win that battle. You can have it. I don't give a shit. The difference is the timing. Philadelphia, who had 2 timeouts in 50 seconds, had that just been an incomplete pass. By the way, was that ball even catchable? That's another argument that no one wants to have. I've seen Kansas City people even argue that they didn't think that ball was catchable. Even if, you know, if you watch the way he runs that route, of course he jars in and out, and then that's where the initial contact was. I did not see 2 different times of contact within the 5 yards. Maybe there was maybe there was a hold. I looked at screenshots a lot last night. It just was a controversial call for a reason. There's a reason why you've got professionals, pro football players on Twitter saying, boy, you just don't throw that flag under that circumstance. You just don't. There's holding on every damn play. We all know this. Line of scrimmage or DBs and wide receivers. And then the argument is, was that ball catchable? I don't think it was. I think at best it was a very soft flag. Now, if it's obvious he's running a slant over the middle and he's grabbing a hold of him, okay, yeah, you're going to throw the flag because it's obvious, right? That was not obvious. It was controversial. You know, Kansas City would have been in field goal range regardless. They could have kicked the field goal. They wouldn't have been able to eat up all the clock. They left Philadelphia with no time. No, I don't think they should have thrown that flag. But you know what? If you're a Chief fan, congratulations. I don't know. Congrats. You won. I hate that they won that way because they're going to have that cloud over their head And a lot of fans aren't going to care. Whatever, you got the hardware. That's all that matters. But I know some people they're already. I've seen them on Facebook. They're not happy with the way that it ended. These are Chiefs fans. They don't like the way that it ended, and I think that is I get it. You know, if that were the Razorbacks, I would also be I would be a little. Don't get me wrong, man. To win it all though, at that point, it's like who cares? Yeah, I was going for the Eagles, but I really could care less or couldn't care less who won that game. I'll yield. Fine. You can have that soft ass PI call. You can have it. That's yours. But we saw so much worse the whole game, and to throw that flag at that moment was just like, oh, okay, we're really going to do this, I guess. So it's unfortunate. The Eagles would have been given, I think, under 50 seconds. I think they had 2 timeouts, if I remember right. They lost an opportunity to have any kind of a chance of at least tying it up. It was a good game. It was a good game for what it was. Again, I know there's Chiefs fans in my audience. Congratulations. I know the feeling. The Rams winning last year was, I mean, it's like you're on top of the world for the offseason. It's a great feeling. It kind of absorbed what happened this year for the Rams, but not really. That was this year was painful. I'm happy Sean McVay's back, but boy, 2022 was brutal for the Rams. But yeah, you can only hope for the best. But congrats on both teams. Good seasons. Good seasons. 2 of the best teams in the NFL this year, no doubt. That shouldn't determine the biggest game of the year. I agree. Fed into the rigged conversation a lot. It kind of did. It kind of did. Especially when, I mean, we could sit here and talk about what, Austin wants to bring up, and Will agrees with him, of course. We could bring up that they gave up plays. Of course they did. That's the game of football. What matters the most is when you throw that flag under those circumstances, when we saw far worse holding earlier in the game, I just don't think you throw that flag. If you let that go, if you let that play go, that holding that we saw far worse in the game go, why would you throw the flag there? And that gives into that rigged conversation. I don't believe that it is. I'm not one of these tinfoil hat, the NFL is controlled by the Illuminati, whatever, But, yeah, it was questionable. And there's a reason why today people are waking up going, whoa, wait a minute. And that's including pro football players as well. I learned to have 2 ears and 1 mouth a long time ago. Sometimes you got to shut up and listen. Oh, Corey. Thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate that. How about the Eagles O-line? That was a very dominant performance. Yeah, 4th and 1, 3rd and short, they were automatic. They really were. Richard Neal says, I was cheering for Jalen Hurts. I was too. I think it was more Jalen Hurts than the Eagles. I'm tired of the Patrick Mahomes. I'm already over it. I'm just tired of it. Nothing against them. They earn the right to be. They're the NFL's premier team in the league right now. I wonder how long that lasts, assuming their head coach, what is he, 65? We'll see how long that lasts with him there. Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback, no doubt. I don't know where to put him on the list of all-time quarterbacks. He's still got a little ways to go. But he's the best quarterback in the NFL. He's fun to watch, man. He is. So is Jalen Hurts. Allen, Home Alone up in Cincinnati, Kevin in Cincinnati. I'm going to bombard to you with super chats. Holy crap. All right. Well, I appreciate that, Corey. You're the man. Thank you. Come on, Ty. The NFL commission gives Illuminati hand signals. Oh, yeah, he does, huh? Boy, Roger Goodell, does he just not get the benefit of the doubt from players and fans? He does not have a great reputation. And I don't know, man. I always look at that like, could I do a better job? No, I couldn't. That's a hard job. But he's open. He's definitely open to criticism. I love Hurts, man. That is a good beginning of a GOAT story for Hurts. All he does is he works hard. He works hard. And a lot of people said he wasn't going to work out in the NFL. A lot of people didn't think that his game would translate into the NFL. He has proven so many people wrong, and I'm cheering for him, man. I don't mind cheering for the individual. I'm not going to go full LeBron right? Or like Kobe fans did back in the day. Although Kobe fans brought in the new generation of Laker fans, him and Shaquille O'Neal, and of course Kobe kept it going. So those people earn their right. You know, the Kobe fans earn their right to be Lakers fans. I don't know about the LeBron people, but I will say there are certain individuals I just want to see have success. You know, and Hurts is one of them for sure. He is. Yeah, he's got an awesome story. I agree, Will. He has an awesome story as an underdog. Chiefs O-line held Cox the entire second half. Blah, 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 blah. Let's scroll up here. Oh, okay. Oh, Michael Kapasky. All right, Michael says, I live in Mississippi, Ty, and I've heard enough about that shit show Saturday, but Arkansas will make the tourney this year. Woo damn pig suey. He says, Michael, I think you're right. I think they still make it. It's gonna be tough. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about how what kind of an uphill climb they have. I don't know what to make. So I'm going to tell you guys, we got a big announcement. Wednesday, I'm not sure if we're going to do a live or not. I'm going to interview Blake Lovell. If you guys don't know who that is, I love their show on Twitter. 14 Southeastern. They cover mostly basketball. They dive into football. Blake is on Twitter at the Blake Lovell. Highly recommend you follow him. Highly recommend you watch their content. I wonder if I could pull their stuff up here and it not automatically start playing here. I don't want to get hit with a. Oh, no, I don't want to get hit with a flag here. My God, Super Chat on a Monday flying off like that. Anyways, that's their link. That's the link. This is their YouTube channel is great. Yeah, Blake Lovell knows his stuff. Both those guys know their stuff. They've had Andrew Hutchinson on their show before, but I'm going to bring Blake on, hopefully assuming our schedules can match up. We're scheduled for an 11 a.m. I don't know if I'm going to make that live. I've thought about making it available to Patreon supporters first, giving them the content. We're not going to concentrate on Texas A&M. We're going to talk about the season as a whole. We're going to talk about the future for the Southeastern Conference, of course, the Arkansas Razorbacks. We're going to touch on all that. We're probably not going to talk a lot about the A&M matchup simply because the plan at the moment is for that to not be live. If we go live, I'll let you guys know. I'll give you hopefully I'll give you a heads up if I can remember, or you'll just get a notification. You'll see the video pop up later in your notification section on your phone. And then if that's the case, then yeah, we're obviously going to talk about Arkansas and A&M. But Blake is, I think very highly of his basketball acumen, his IQ. This dude knows his stuff. I love listening to those guys talk. Good Lord. Corey Lebhart, again with a super chat. My God, this is the most super chat I've ever gotten on a Monday. I won square T, and I am giving you 33%, bro. You won square T. What is that? I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Wow, this is a record for a Monday. Goodell is an idiot, says John. Yeah, I guess. I'm not gonna say I'm not a big fan. Corey trying to find the new studio. Yeah, no kidding. He's trying to fund the new studio. He is. Corey's out here like, oh, what's that? Ty needs financing. Ty needs a little help. Here you go, buddy. I appreciate that, man. So yeah, we'll have him on Wednesday. Looking forward to it. Again, Blake is. We've been chatting it up a little bit in DMs, and we're gonna try and get this interview going on Wednesday. So looking forward to that. Scott says, oh, yeah, I watch that show from time to time. It is good. Yeah, and, of course, you're going to focus on when I talk about the Razorbacks, but I think he just does such a fantastic job. And I want to bring him in, get his take for our Test Talk audience. So we're going to chat a little bit about, okay, so we got baseball coming up. My God, it's already here. It is... It's already here. It's game week. Holy crap. What's the rotation going to look like for the starting pitchers? You've got, Hagen Smith hanging around. Hunter Holland, who everyone's going crazy about. I didn't realize Hunter Holland. I didn't know Hunter Holland was 6'5". That dude is 6'5", 200 pounds. Will McIntyre. Going to be interesting to see what that lineup's going to look like. See what they do out of the bullpen. We know the loss they had, big blow. I'm told that's a big blow. Losing Jackson Wiggins, that sucks. But hopefully Arkansas is able to recover, do just fine. Looking forward to seeing what they now. Dudley and I, that's another thing he and I are going to talk about. I'm going to try and get some baseball talk if we're able to meet up tonight at the Odd Soul. Again, if you guys happen to be around town, maybe you'll run into Dudley and I on Emma Street. Up to no good. But those are three names. Those are some guys. Those are some folks to keep an eye on. Arkansas, just no idea what the expectations should be. They've got a really interesting starting beginning to their schedule. They're going to start off against Texas because, of course, they are. Not an easy start for baseball. You love the opportunity, but all three of your first games are against ranked opponents. A top 20 Texas squad. Texas friend of mine thinks they're going to win it all. I mean, that's their anytime they're ranked. Oh, we're going to take it all the way, man. But they think, again, they're 19th according to ArkansasRazorbacks.com. I don't know where they feed their rank off of because there's so many different sites. TCU's right there next to them at 18th, and then you're going to close out the college baseball showdown that's in Arlington, Texas at Globe Life Field. You're going to close that out against number 9 Oklahoma State. I kind of feel like if you get out of that thing with a couple of wins, you got to take that as a dub. They've had success down there. They've had success in the state of Texas early to start these seasons, right? Then you open up in Baum Stadium February 21st. That's going to be your first game in Fayetteville for anybody who – what is that? Is that a Tuesday? It is a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. Oh, boy. Arkansas has Georgia that night. Oh, wow. I did not realize. Okay, so if you've got nothing better to do, you get off work a little early and you're in the Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers area, you can go to Baum Stadium at 3 o'clock on Tuesday, watch them play Grambling. So that's your home opener. And then if you want to stay up real late, you get to go to the game with Georgia in town. If I'm looking at my schedule right, Georgia in town at 8 p.m. that night. So that'll be fascinating. And then that Friday, you open up a 3-game series in Fayetteville against Eastern Illinois. You don't start SEC play. It seems like so far away, but you open up in Fayetteville against Auburn March 17th, and, of course, a 3-game series. And then right after that, literally the following Friday, you have LSU in Baton Rouge. That might be between that series and Tennessee and Fayetteville might be two of the big. Now I know we could talk about Ole Miss. That's going to be a big one. A&M's going to be a big one. They seem to think they're going to be really good this year. You're on the road at Starkville in May to start winding down the season. You've got South Carolina and Fayetteville, but then you've got to close out your regular season against Vanderbilt on the road. Boy, this schedule, this baseball schedule is absolutely brutal. The good news is, you get Auburn at home, right? That's going to be a fun matchup. I wonder how good Louisiana Tech's supposed to be this year because you got a 3-game series with – I keep forgetting about this series against Louisiana Tech, but that starts on March 10th through the 12th. But you get Auburn at home, but then you got to go on the road to Baton Rouge, arguably maybe the best team in college baseball this year. You get Alabama at home. Remember, you got Arkansas State as a midweek matchup, April 4th. That's, of course, in Fayetteville. Then you're on the road against Oxford. Tennessee at home, at Georgia, in Fayetteville, you get A&M, and then you're on the road to Starkville, South Carolina at home, and then on the road in Nashville to play. That is a freaking brutal schedule. I don't know how to compare it to the last couple of years, but I really want to get. I want to get Dudley's take on this. I want to get anyone who follows Razorback baseball or SEC baseball. I want to get their take on this. This is a freaking brutal schedule. I looked at it a little while back and thought, all right, yeah, it's tough. But the good news is you get you get Tennessee at home. Alabama, come on, they haven't discovered the sport of baseball yet. Sure enough, when they do and they have one good season, their fans are going to tell you, oh, well, now we're God's gift to, college baseball now, because that's just how their fans are. But, looking at the schedule at first glance before realizing just how good LSU's projected to be, actually, it's been several months ago, you didn't think much of this. I mean, you did because it's an SEC schedule, but the more you look at it, it's like, holy God, that's brutal. That's tough. And you start things off down in Texas with 3 ranked opponents right out the gate. It's kind of extraordinary. But what's up, Bot Magnet? How you doing, man? Every year for every sport, as Arkansas fan, man, this is going to be a brutal schedule. That is very true, Aaron. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. This year it looks pretty special. Let's talk a little bit about Braylen Russell, who made the cover of this thumbnail on this show. 6'2", 230-pound running back out of Benton, Arkansas. Last year he ran for 1,643 yards, 27 total touchdowns. That's all. Just 27. 240 carries, again, 1,643 yards, 22 catches, 224 yards. Arkansas made his cut. Arkansas made the cut for Braylen Russell. Now, he's had a little bit of a history with the Razorbacks already. Right now, he's made multiple visits, I believe, to Ole Miss. Let's look at his timeline here really quick. He decommitted from Arkansas back in October. He decommitted October 9th, 2022. Immediately after, he started picking up some more offers. The first major offer, P5 offer, would have been Arizona on January 1st. January 18th, A&M offered. Purdue, Kansas State, and Baylor have all offered him. Kansas and February this year, Kansas State and Baylor have all offered him so far in 2023. He has camped. I believe he camped at Tennessee. Let's see if that's right. I think 247 had him camping. Now 247 says he camped at the Tennessee Volunteers Night at Neyland Camp. But yeah, he committed to Arkansas back in November 6, 2021. He attended Junior Day in January of last year, and then he decommitted. A lot of why would he decommit comments, because right now he's, as far as I know, he was their only serious target in this class that they were serious about. Now, that was just something I had heard through the grapevine. That wasn't anything from Otis Kirk. That wasn't anything from Dudley Dawson. That was just something I kind of heard through the grapevine, that he was their serious target. Now, this year they took only one running back who I'm a big fan of out of Florida. He was their one and only target. I don't know if that's the formula for Arkansas, is just to go and grab one running back every class. I don't know. But when he decommitted, I thought that was a pretty big blow. Arkansas now has made they're back into his cut. Braylen Russell has Arkansas in his top 10. Now we know that doesn't mean much. One of the reasons why I added it was simply because it's not super common, I should say. It's not really uncommon, but it's not super common that the guy who just decommitted from the school adds them back into his top 10. It does happen, but thought it was interesting because what I had been told at first was Arkansas is just dead in the water when it comes to Braylen, but they're still going to recruit him. They've clearly kept doing that. I'm sure there's a Sam Pittman and of course, a Mr. Running Backs coach all over Braylen, not letting go. Braylen Russell, now we know how this works. Arkansas could still lose some players to the portal come May. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, you don't want to lose anybody. It's just simply to get a kid out of the following recruiting class. You kind of wonder if that's not a part of it. The fact that Rocket could be gone by the time he gets on campus, but AJ Green, maybe it had something to do with DeBinion coming in and just kind of having an impact. He camped really well for Arkansas. He had a good fall camp, looked good in practice, got some playing time, and maybe that had an effect on Braylen. I don't know. Again, maybe we can get Otis Kirk on to talk about this, but Braylen then adds Arkansas back into his top 10. He's supposed to commit That's the $1 million question. I read that somewhere. He was going to commit. He was going to announce. Originally, he was going to announce sometime soon, but wasn't going to sign in December. Now, that might be misinformation. I'm not sure. But he wasn't going to sign in December, may wait until February of next year. So we may not know where he's really going until a year from now. I'm going to say this. Not a good look that your top 2 players in your state could be going out of state. That's not a good look. Walker White, who just recently committed to Auburn. I don't see Arkansas backing off of him anytime soon. I could be wrong. I mean, Arkansas is definitely going to go target some other quarterbacks. They're going to go talk to some other quarterbacks. Danny Enos probably going to have to kind of play the Walker White situation by ear. But from what I understand, they're not going to fully back off this kid. I mean, he's in your backyard. It'd be a bad look to lose someone like Walker White out of Little Rock Christian Academy, 6'3", 220 pounds. Great arm. He's getting a lot of publicity. He's the number 1 player in the state. He's considered a top 10, top 15 prospect as a quarterback, and he commits to Auburn. Braylen Russell, who's got Ole Miss, I think Ole Miss is kind of where people believe he could end up. And then you have Charleston Collins out of Little Rock, out of Mills, right? Yeah, okay. So he's right now a 4-star according to 247 composite. 247 has him as a 3-star, and at the moment, it looks like it's split between the crystal ball predictions between Danny West and Steve Wiltfong. Usually not a good thing when Wiltfong crystal ball predicts away from Arkansas. But, yeah, it's 50-50 split right now. I don't have the dates. No, we've got 4 predictions in on that. That page is not loading at the moment, but it's not loading. But anyways, we know it's a 50-50 split right now between Arkansas and LSU. I don't have an update on him, but the point being, at the moment, you really could lose your top 3 players out of your own backyard. I can't remember the last time that happened. Braylen Russell, it looked like he was a very strong commit early on for Arkansas. It certainly seemed to be the case, and then something happened. And he decommitted. And then, of course, a little while later, you lose Walker White, and now you've got Charleston Collins, who's on your short list, right? And then, of course, 247 kind of rounds out with only 4 players currently ranked. We know that page is going to – I had someone DM me the other day about why we were so shit this year at pumping out prospects in the 24 class. And listen, it's only February, right? Yeah, generally by now you start seeing names added. We'll see, as camps – take hold, and as the season progresses, as the offseason progresses, as we get through spring camp and get into the summer, that list will expand. But yeah, at the moment, you've got 4 players ranked in the state of Arkansas according to 247. We'll see what it looks like in a few months. There should be some names added, but Arkansas right now not in good shape in terms of in-state recruiting. That could change. Obviously, they didn't give up on Braylen Russell when he decommitted. I mean, I don't know how many times I was told that. Well, they're going to back off, Ty. They're going to back off. No, they're not. No, they're not. And I think it's the same thing with Walker White. Now, Walker probably a pretty strong commit, and I think it's going to be tough to get him out of Auburn. I think it's going to be tough to get him away from Auburn right now. But yeah, they're gonna target some other quarterbacks. We know they are. They're going to recruit. They're going to kind of play it by ear and reassess things immediately. Probably as soon as they're able to. As soon as they're able to, get back on the phone, talk to these prospects, get some visits out of the way. We'll see what happens. We know June is a very busy month for off-season recruiting. So hopefully by June we'll have a better idea of what's going on. By the end of June, we'll have a better idea of what's going on. Yeah, right now you've got 2 of your top prospects at the moment not looking too good for Arkansas. We'll see what happens with Collins out of Mills. We'll see what happens there. TJ Lindsey. Can't afford to let all these kids leave your home state. Another $20 super chat. My God, the squares, bro. I know you have done that. I told you I would give you 33%. Here you go. You the bomb. I appreciate that. I still don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I appreciate it. I'm sorry. Wasn't he our first 2024 commit? Yeah, he was. Paul Raymond says the Enos effect. Agreed. Not a good look at all. Richard Neal says, I hate Auburn almost as much as I hate Ole Miss. Boy, we all hate Ole Miss, don't we, Richard? You've never done the Super Bowl squares. No, I guess not. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Please fill me in. If it's an opportunity, obviously Corey won. He won, man. He got the bank, and he is piling it on. I do appreciate that. This is a record, by the way. Super Chat Monday. This is a record. Y'all are gonna have to fill me in on these squares. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh my God! Good Lord, someone please man up and beat me. This man is awesome. Wow. We're going for a live record. I think our live record was, we did was it post-game Texas after Arkansas beat Texas, and we broke like $200 or $170 or something. I don't know. I'm sure there's a way to look at that. Corey, I appreciate it, man. Please do not feel obligated. Please do not feel obligated to give me 33% of your winnings. I do appreciate that, man. Did Mahomes prove... Manny says, did Mahomes prove that all you need is an elite quarterback to win it all? Philly had a better team. Yeah, and that's the thing about Philly. I don't mean to get back on that. Philly was a better team toe-to-toe. I think their top-to-bottom roster better. Their defense better. Offensive line, clearly dominant. And at the end of the day, Casey's got the better quarterback. At the moment, Casey's got the better quarterback, more weapons on offense, and you see the outcome. You bet on points per quarter. Oh, okay. I believe that's how it goes. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a big betting guy. When I go to West Siloam, give Oklahoma all of our hard-earned Arkansas money. God, open up casinos in this state, please, for the love of God, among other things. By the way, Missouri is going to be legalizing something if they haven't already, and just saying. For some of you that live up here around the border. Just saying. But no, here, that certain thing that recreational and growing, it's legal. Colorado, California, you get what I'm saying now. Yeah, Missouri soon. I thought it was Tuesday. I thought it was last Tuesday when they opened it up. But there's gonna be some spots along the border. Just saying. I do not condone. Letting everybody know he's making a trip to Mississippi. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I do not partake, nor do I take illegal substances across state lines. With squares, you get a set of numbers that you either have to end with or total up to, depending on the sheet owner. Okay, they pay out per quarter, sometimes forward and backwards. There's money made in it. Wow, huh? I've been meaning to download the app just to kind of dabble, but a friend of mine and her husband got into a little bit of debt doing the betting, and kind of made me think twice, so I just didn't do it. Just do Saracen or Oaklawn apps, so you don't get those weirdo Sooners. Yeah, I like going inside casinos though, man. I love the lights, the neon lights, the sounds. I love it. I love Vegas. I've been to Vegas. Unfortunately, I had a minor foot injury that kind of slowed me down in Vegas, but I had a blast. I want to go back. I condone. Go get it. Saracen has good special bets for the Arkansas games. See, you guys are going to turn me into I'm going to get in on some of this gambling, and my wife's going to hate you guys. All right, while we're here, we're going to talk about Arkansas's rankings here really fast. Net rankings. Well, where to go? Hold on. Screen froze. Where did you go? Net rankings. Where did you go? All right. Arkansas, 23rd in net rankings. 3-1 neutral, 2-5 on the road. Their overall record, of course, as we all know, 17-8, 12-2 at home, 2-5 versus quad 1. That's a lot of quad 1 losses. 4-2 quad 2, 7-1 quad 3, 4-0 quad 4. You're getting ready to go on the road against A&M. Listen, and I know this is going to sound crazy. A&M can either set you up, put you in a far better place than where you're at, because, I mean, this is a 33rd overall net ranking team, right? They are similar. They're 2-4 against Quad 1. They have one less Quad 1 loss than Arkansas. They're 3-1 versus Quad 2, and then they're undefeated versus Quad 3, 8-2 versus Quad 4. Obviously, those two Quad 4 losses are holding them back a little bit. This is not a game that knocks you out of the tournament. Winning it certainly puts you in far better position. You know, they're right now riding a pretty good win streak here. They on the road. These guys beat Florida to open up conference play. They beat the crap out of LSU at home, 69-56. Who hasn't? Am I right? Who hasn't beat the hell out of LSU? Missouri, 82-64 against Missouri. They go on the road. They beat South Carolina 94-53. That's what Arkansas should have done. I think Arkansas is better than A&M. And A&M went on the road, and listen, timing matters and all that. They beat Florida close, 54-52. Again, low-scoring game because it's Florida. Florida's a good defensive team. They go on the road. They lose to Kentucky 76-67. They have swept Auburn. They beat them the first time on January 25th when Auburn was ranked 15th in the country. They beat them 79-63. They took care of Vanderbilt 72-66. They go on the road to take on Arkansas, obviously lose that game by double digits, 11 points. See, I think Arkansas is better. I think it's more likely Arkansas probably splits this matchup, though. And I don't think that's the end of the world for Arkansas, but, man, it's just you continue to dig that hole. They beat Georgia. They finish off the sweep against Auburn, then they go on the road and do something Arkansas couldn't do and take care of business, 64-62. Now, after this game for A&M, right, 8 p.m., 8 p.m. on ESPN2, they got to go on the road and take care of Missouri. I probably would take them to beat Missouri right now. I think they probably beat Arkansas at home. That at Missouri game going to be tough, though. At home against Arkansas is going to be tough for them. Then they have Tennessee, who has been one of the strangest teams in college basketball this year, if you want my opinion. Losing a couple of games this year, one of them at home they had no business losing. 6 p.m., they're going to take on Tennessee. Then they're at Mississippi State, at Ole Miss. Then they close the year out against Bama. Honestly, they are set up to get in, not only just get into the tournament, to maybe be a top 8 seed. Now, the 8 seed is, you definitely wear a little bit of caution for that, but the 8 seed can be cursed. We all know that. But at Mizzou, they have an opportunity. I would say they probably split the two. It's either they lose to Arkansas at home and they beat Missouri, or the other way around. But that game against Tennessee is absolutely huge for them, as well as closing out the regular season against Bama. Arkansas, on the other hand, we all know all too well what's at stake here. You have dug yourself into a hole, whether it's that god-awful 4-game losing streak against 2 or 3 teams you had no business losing. Well, at least one for sure. Looking at LSU, they should have beat Vanderbilt. I know Vanderbilt's one of those spicy teams that can kind of sneak up on you. We know they should have won at Missouri, but that wasn't all their fault. Officiating was atrocious. That's the one game this year I'm going to tag as Arkansas losing a game because of officiating. I don't do that often. I think that is the only time since I've done this that I've ever pinned a loss on officiating. That game was won. And that includes football. I've never looked – well, I mean, obviously the Auburn game, they quite literally lost the game for Arkansas. But Vanderbilt – or that game on the road against Missouri – on January 18th, 79-76, I pinned that loss on officiating. It's the only time you'll ever hear me say that. But, again, you go on this nice little conference win streak. You beat Ole Miss, LSU, A&M, South Carolina. You go on the road to beat South Carolina and Kentucky, only to drop, let's be real, Mississippi State. And I know Richard Neal's in our chat, but let's be honest. Arkansas's a better team. They are a better team. By how much, I don't know, but they are a better team. had no business losing to Mississippi State inside Bud Walton. At Mississippi State, okay, you can kind of, all right, well, they had to go on the road. Maybe the crowd was hostile. Okay, I get it. Inside Bud Walton Arena, I damn near a sellout, I believe, to drop that game in front of your home crowd in a time when you couldn't afford. I mean, you could kind of afford, but not really afford to lose that game. Now it puts you in an even deeper situation. You've dug a hole so deep where it does feel like this A&M game. There's a lot riding on it. I'm going to say it's the biggest game of the year. So far, it's the biggest game of the year. And then guess what? If you do somehow manage to take care of business against the Aggies on the road, well, then that makes Florida the biggest game of the year. And then that makes Georgia the biggest game of the year because those are home games. Every game from here on out is your biggest game of the year because it does feel like maybe A&M, again, because I think it's right on the cusp of being a high-profile game. A&M, I think, makes the tournament. It's going to be close for them, just like it is for Arkansas. Very similar situations. Both these teams have to sweep the other, and Arkansas is going to walk into a hornet's nest. And the more I think about it, I had Arkansas sweeping this game, not so much anymore. I don't feel like they win this game. A&M playing some pretty good basketball, and I think they're a good basketball team. They just they dug their own hole, right? Arkansas did the same thing. We'll see what happens with Nick Smith. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. But every game from here on out feels like the biggest game. The only game that then becomes a little bit less meaningful, let's say if you win out, and the odds of that are so slim, but if you win out up until Kentucky, then you kind of feel like whatever happens with Kentucky, right? Maybe you can't afford at that point to drop that game. Maybe not. I don't know. Just kind of depends on what the selection committee thinks, right, of the reputation of the SEC and the Razorbacks. But, yeah, you're at 17. That would put you at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 wins after Tennessee with some high-profile Quad 1 games. High-profile games if you include A&M, Bama, and Tennessee. Now, obviously, I don't think that happens. Yeah, Kentucky all of a sudden at that point. Hell, if you win at Bama and you lose the next two, you're still in. But you have to set yourself up real pretty to have a chance of doing that. And A&M, it feels like every time I say something good about Arkansas, the next damn game they do the other thing. They do the opposite. Nick Smith Jr., if this guy's going to get 17 minutes in a game and have the kind of productivity, and listen, that was expected. It kind of makes you wonder, was Musselman thinking long-term by giving him those kind of minutes? Of course he was. Of course he was. He gave him 17 minutes. He had 5 points. He was 1 of 4 outside. He was 2 of 7 overall. 0 for 1 at the free throw line. He ended up with just 5 points, 1 assist, 1 rebound. That is horrible production for 17 minutes. That's not good production, right? Maybe if you could jack up the assist totals. Maybe if you were at like 4 or 5 assists, 3 or 4 rebounds, maybe an offensive rebound tossed in there. He did have 0 turnovers, although it felt like he didn't have the ball as much as you would think for 17 minutes considering who he is. But the 5 points, I mean, the 2 for 7, it's just not going to cut it, right? Clearly, that was a rust game. I'm sure Musselman knew this was probably going to happen. Was it a long-term, I'm going to throw him in there, we might lose the game, but maybe it gets Nick Smith going, maybe it gives him the confidence that he needs, and also it gives us a pretty good idea of what he's capable of doing on the floor, just in terms of a how many minutes can he play standpoint. So now that begs the question, what does their starting 5 look like against Texas A&M? Now, I've told you guys before, it is a mismatch. Arkansas's got superior talent. They've got height. They've got the length in their guards. That's going to be the case more times than not for Arkansas because their guards are so lengthy. And, of course, you got the Mitchell twins who you assume are going to start. Is it Nick Smith, obviously Anthony Black, and then who's that third guy? Is it Council? Is it Walsh? Is it, what do they want to – what's that matchup going to look like? Is it Devo? Did Devo just sacrifice himself to the bench with his production this last game? I don't think so. Listen, one bad game does not negate all the good that Devo has done in conference play. Some of the comments in our Discord were asinine. You're not – and I'm looking at you, Michael Kopesky. I don't know if you're still here. You're not sacrificing Nick Smith's minutes. Do you want to bring him off the bench? Okay, maybe. We've seen him do good coming off the bench. We've seen him come off the bench and just light a fire under this team's ass, especially on the defensive end of the floor. And against A&M, or excuse me, Mississippi State, that was the case, right? You did not get good production from your bench. And with Nick Smith, Walsh, and Graham, that is somewhat surprising considering how good two of those guys have been. Obviously, Smith has got a lot of rust, hasn't played since December. So it begs the question, what do we look at come my God, did I get another? Holy crap. Come this matchup. Look up squares, T-Dog. Good Lord, I am a nerd and know that. Well, I'm not a gambling guy, Corey. Again, I hope you're not. Man, I mean, I do appreciate it. Please do not feel obligated. One more time, I do not gamble often, but I am glad we bet on you. Aw. Well, thank you. That is so kind. You are awesome, Corey. I do appreciate that. That is very sweet. That is very nice, Corey Lebhart. I do appreciate that, man. I mean, of course, the financial, that's great, but the comment, very sweet. Thank you. Corey trying to be Ty's Valentine. I think he is. Look out, wife. I think I've got someone in my heart now. Corey has moved into my heart. But why would they not pass it to Nick in the corner? Ricky was a no-show. He has to show up. Yeah, and he was, John. He was a no-show. But again, I think it was him finding his place. It was him finding his place, trying to gain a little bit of chemistry. Look, he only came back to practice with these guys, a week ago Friday. Someone said, I think it was on maybe Twitter, maybe Facebook, that Nick Smith he'd been practicing with the team all along, or he's been around these guys. It's not that simple. And no, he's not been an active participant in practice for very long. I mean, he's been out of commission. I mean, don't forget he was in California for a while, right? No, he's not been working out on a regular basis, on a regular day-to-day basis with these guys. Josh Bernaccini made a comment this morning on his show that he saw Ricky Council kind of shrug his shoulders after Nick Smith was giving up the ball and he missed. And I guess Ricky Council apparently was seen, and Josh Bernaccini wasn't the only one to say that. Some other people have said that they thought they saw Ricky Council's demeanor change a little bit every time Nick Smith, not every time, but a couple times when Nick Smith was given the ball and he took a shot and he missed. So it's just not that simple. You're going to plug somebody in and everyone's like, oh, this is great. We're in paradise. We all agree. That's not how this thing works. I don't think that there are any individuals. Ricky Council will pass the ball. We've seen him drive and kick the ball to somebody around him or hand it off to one of the Mitchell twins or to Walsh or someone else around him underneath the iron. We've seen him do that. He's not a selfish player. At times, does he drive the lane similar to Devo and just kind of throw the ball up, looking to draw a foul or trying to get a desperate bucket because the play clock is down under 3 seconds? Yeah, of course he does. Devo does it all the time too. But I feel like he's less likely to turn the ball over, and at times he's smarter with the ball than Devo is. And you could probably say the same about Anthony Black, but you're talking about a freshman there. But the point being that they're going to have to find chemistry, and maybe the sacrifice was against Mississippi State for Nick Smith. Maybe you were kind of sacrificing that game. As it turns out, this game didn't affect Arkansas the way that we thought that it would. It really didn't. You didn't drop back very far. Arkansas right now on Ken Palm is 23rd. They're projected a 9-9 at the moment. They're projected 9-9. Of course, Bama's at 2. Tennessee's at 5. I think that puts Arkansas as the third. Is that right? The third highest according to Ken Palm. We know that their rankings in terms of net rankings didn't take a big hit. So maybe Musselman's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. I don't know. There's a big difference in being at practice and participating in practice. Aaron hit it out of the park right there. That's it. I think Muss I think Muss coaches just driving and tossing the ball towards the rim sometimes, trying to get fouls. Certainly seems that way, right? It seems to be a large majority of what they do on offense when they get desperate, when they're trying to get into the teeth of that low zone. Now, Mississippi State played primarily man from what I could tell. They did switch to zone a little bit. They did kind of trap a little bit. But, they forced Arkansas to kind of abandon their half-court defense, kind of forced them to abandon the idea of trapping and forced them to go a little bit, change some things defensively and kind of force them to do some things with their personnel that you could tell Arkansas got a little desperate there defensively, which is odd considering Mississippi State is so bad on the offensive end of the floor. What Mississippi State did, it's just such a knock on this defense. Arkansas is a good defense. I don't know if they're as good as last year yet. We'll see when the dust settles come March. They have been suspect, and at times their perimeter defense has been suspect. At times, easy points down underneath, finishing at the rim defensively or stopping teams from being able to finish at the rim. They'll rack up blocks. We see them do that. I mean, the double deuce, he'll get you, right? The Mitchell twins will get you. But for whatever reason, there's something shaky about the defensive effort on their end of the floor. Transition defense is pretty good. They're good at recovering. They're better. I've seen them get a little bit better at perimeter recovery, other than Nick Smith, who came up on a double team to assist. I think it was Ricky Council, and he gave up an open three because he didn't peel off his man quick enough. In all candor, I think something is up with the dynamic. Of the team. I agree with that. When Nick came back, yes, yeah, I agree. Devo and Council played totally different and were very hesitant when they all played together. Yes, right there it is. And you're not the only one saying that, Michael. You're not the only one saying that. A lot of people believe that maybe the chemistry. And what did we say not that long ago, coming into February? I remember saying it here. I remember some of you saying this in the live chat, that we can't expect the chemistry to just pick up like that. It's not like you insert Nick Smith and all of a sudden, I told you, he's not the answer to all your prayers. He's the answer. He's a big answer to some of them, but not all of them. And then there's the chemistry thing that you have to work out. I agree, Kopeski, 110%. That is a W take by you, sir. I caught AB even making a gesture towards Nick on that turnover on the wing. I saw them getting upset at each other. Anthony Black and was it Jordan Walsh? Who was it? Or maybe it was, I don't know. I did see some John back and forth. They were not happy with each other, and let's hope that's not a sign of things to come. Let's hope that whatever that was, it was just in the moment, in the heat of the moment. They weren't playing their best basketball. Mississippi State came in offensively, kind of took them by surprise. Let's kind of hope that maybe they just got frustrated in the moment. Let's hope they get the cohesiveness thing down. I hope it doesn't sacrifice things for not only Mississippi State but also A&M, because you've already dug yourself into a pretty deep hole. Again, I think they get in. My God, it might be by the skin of your teeth. It's going to be close. Probably going to be an 11 seed. Part of me thinks you'd be better off being an 11 seed than an 8 seed. But anyways, you could be a really dangerous 11 seed if Nick Smith finds his way. Ty, do my question last week about Nick Smith's return will impact the team and everyone ripped you. Wait. I don't really remember that. Did they? I kind of... You'll have to update me on that, John. I'm sure they did. The whole team looked genuinely mad at each other. Several times there were players visibly frustrated. Yeah, I agree. It was Walsh. I think State frustrated them not be able to do anything offensively. I agree. And we can all agree Walsh is not a 5-star. Well, listen, it's the same thing, although a 5-star prospect is more likely to have an impact as a true freshman than a 5-star prospect in any other sport. That is just the truth of it, right? I mean, that's why the portal is, in my opinion, in basketball, it has had the biggest impact of all the sports. Is the transfer portal to the compared to the other, to basketball compared to football or baseball. Baseball could have an impact this year, by the way. Arkansas baseball. I've been told about some portal players. But and when you get a guy out of the portal who's a star at another program, and maybe you think of maybe not necessarily as a 5-star, but could be a potential. I mean, you look at Brazil, right? Brazil was working his way up. He was really showing people, at Mizzou, like, hey, you really messed up on my usage at Missouri. Look at what I'm doing at Arkansas. And we see him do the things that he did until he got injured. Big, big blow to Arkansas. But he kind of proved some people wrong and surprised people. Whereas on the other hand, Walsh, who's a McDonald's All-American 5-star, hasn't lived up to it this year. I don't ever give up on a guy and say, well, he's just not a 5-star, shouldn't have been. He might be a guy like Bobby Portis kind of had to develop into his game a little bit. I'm not comparing him. He's not a Bobby Portis, but you know what I mean. He might need a little bit of work. He might need a little bit of coaching. He needs to, get a little bit more work in this system and with the guys around him a little bit. Although in this day and age, who knows what the roster is going to look like next year in 2023, 2024 season. But you need to find that cohesiveness quickly. And I understand when people say like, he should never have been a 5-star. Listen, man, every recruiting analyst who watched him play believed wholeheartedly he deserved to be a McDonald's All-American and felt he should have been a 5-star prospect. He's just, sometimes your game just doesn't always follow you, right, to where you go. You've got to find it. And I think once he does, he can become a big-time contributor to this program. He just hasn't found it yet. I don't think it's fair to say he's not a 5-star. I don't think that's fair. Generally I kind of wait until after their college career's done and then maybe whatever. But yeah, I mean, at the moment I get it. He's not lived up to it. He hasn't. I agree with that. But I don't think that that's all on him. I think he's just trying to find his place within the system. Ty, I asked if Nick's return might be more of a hindrance. Okay, I do recall that. I don't remember what my response was. You'll have to remind me of I don't remember what my response was. I feel like I would have agreed with that. No, guys, no, Ty, you don't get it. Those, you don't get it. Obviously, those professional analysts were wrong, and disappointed Hog fans know all. Yeah, it's just so much more complicated than that, right? I mean, it's just so much more complicated. Walsh right now can't create his own shot, which, Michael, you could say that about, most of the guys on this roster, including some other 5-stars or highly rated prospects, right? Won't even take an open shot. He needs 2 years of college, but money won't allow that. Well, okay. I mean, that is what it is. I mean, BP still had an impact freshman season. He did, but he also wasn't surrounded with the level of talent. He had more on his shoulders and was able to live up to it. Portis was a great player, but Portis got better year 2, right? Portis's game, his mid-range jump shot, his offensive presence was better. He was, of course, a good defensive player. His whole game developed year 2. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, and again, like I said, he's not Bobby Portis, but you saw how much better Portis. We saw a number of players, under Mike, at least take a step in the right direction. Devo's a good example. I mean, Devo found his offensive game this year in conference play anyways. He found his offensive game. We'd like for him to be, we would like another – we don't want Mississippi State to happen again. But he was your leading or a second leading scorer on this roster, developed the offensive prowess of his game, found that part of his game. I think Walsh he's capable of doing the exact same thing. I think he's capable. Maybe not this year. He might need another year. Hell, he might need 3. I don't know. But I listen, everything I've read on Walsh, the sky is the limit for that dude. And I obviously, even if it's not here, I hope he finds it. He's going to be a fun one to keep up with no matter where he's at. I think highly of him. He's not lived up to the expectations. And that is fair to say. Not only Walsh, but our team as a whole just suffers from inconsistency. Yes. Seems just just about every game, a different person has been leading scorer. Well, I mean, you saw what happened when Ricky Council and Devo aren't your leading scorers, and you had Nick Smith who's trying to get the rust off. They really struggled, man. Holy cow. All right. We're coming up on this record. Mother of God. Corey, it is not like that. It's not my fault you do not send money. Stop being cheap and call me out for something I have not done. Huh? Are you okay, Corey? Are you all right? I don't know if that's directed at me. It is not like that. It is not my fault. You do not. Oh, maybe he's talking to other people. Stop being cheap and call me out for something I have not done. I'm assuming Corey's talking to someone in chat. I don't know. John says you did agree and talked about team chemistry. Said he couldn't play every position. Everyone's, oh, yeah. Yeah, I got ripped for saying that he wasn't going to answer all their prayers. And listen, I think that's going to be the case even when he's 100% and he's full go, right? When he's 100% and the chemistry's there. He still doesn't answer all of your prayers, but on offense, man. Oh, yeah, I'd be really excited about what he could do for you on the offensive end of the floor. I thought defense, if you go back and watch, his intensity picked up. I think he could be an outstanding defensive player as well. I'd love for him to develop into an elite two-way player this year. Obviously, it's the only chance you get with him, and he's going to have to do it quick. But, again, you're mid-February. You're running out of time. Like, if this were the beginning of February, okay, we could talk a little bit. All right, you've got some opportunities to just kind of build off of what they've accomplished so far up until that point, and you're going to develop Nick Smith's game, and you got a little bit of time. Now that window is so small. But again, even if he was 100% go and this team had all of its chemistry and everyone was on the same page, well, then you wouldn't need him to answer all your prayers, right? But let's say there was an area or two where they're still struggling a little bit. He's not going to answer all of those prayers. Corey, we're just joking, my man. Okay, I must be out on the joke. I have no idea. Not UT. I will. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just keep going. Intensity on the ball without fouling. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Just try to keep it civil in chat. All right. Let's just try and keep it civil. No defensive intensity was. His defensive intensity was incredible. Just like you said earlier, though, he just didn't seem to have the ball very much. For his minutes on offense, he was missed wide open pretty often. Yeah, I thought there were a couple times he should have had the ball in his hands just to see what he could do. To be fair, he was cold. You know, in his under his circumstances and what he's up against, I think he did need to have the ball in his hands a little bit more. But at the same time, you could argue, you know, he was missing shots, right? Yeah, you know, not until the end did he knock down that three. It wasn't until the final 2 minutes. There's nothing like a Haas and Kopecky. These two are like cats and dogs, I swear to God. Oh my God. Ty believes he's referring to the Valentine comment. Oh, well, I took that as just a fun tongue-in-cheek kind of, you know. Smith is a streaky shooter. He has been so far. Right. Let's see what he can do again when he finds his place and they find that chemistry. Something this Hog squad is missing tremendously. Yeah. Not my fault. Halls had that. Your drink of choice is haterade. Oh boy. You guys are silly. All right. We're up against it. We're at the hour 11 mark. I do appreciate you guys a lot. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. I already had a couple of you DM me about not getting notifications. I wish I had more power over that. I just don't. But I do appreciate you guys for coming in. Appreciate the super chats. Holy crap, all of you. I do appreciate them. The one thing that YouTube doesn't let me do is look back on the live chats, and I don't know why that's not a function. Because sometimes I might miss a super chat. Sorry, super chat's what I meant. And sometimes you just can't really. You don't know who the hell. You'll miss them, and there's nothing you can do about them. You'll scroll up forever, and you got to wait for it to load, and then it cuts you off, and you can't even read the rest of your super chat. So that's just stupid. They really need to fix that function. But you send out any stickers recently? I haven't, Aaron. And thank you for the super chat, of course, as always. I haven't. If you need one, let me know. I'm also going to tell you, I hadn't talked about it yet. I have a graphic designer looking at my logo at the moment. He's going to make some changes. The logo will be changing probably maybe soon. I don't know. We had dinner Friday night. We kind of went over some designs, went over some ideas, talked about, of course, talking about a website, talking about, getting the header, getting the banner done right and all this stuff. There's going to be some changes to Tuss Talk. I want to get a website. I want to get a website up and a Facebook page up before summer. That might be a stretch because we're also trying to get the studio set up in the garage. And you guys know that I've been trying to do this for 2 years. This is a big deal. It's going to require a little bit of capital, without a lie. So, again, please join Patreon. Get in on the super chats. It's going to require some capital to get in that studio. We're a little bit behind, but we're hoping, fingers crossed, before summer, we're gonna be able to get started on that studio room. It's kind of a one thing at a time, but the logo design will probably be the first thing that comes along as far as changes. We've already made some changes to Discord. We still have the Patreon-only chat. It's up and running. I got some ideas for Patreon members there. All sorts of stuff happening in 2023. It should be a really cool year. So really looking forward to some of the changes. I do appreciate you guys for being here. I appreciate everyone, Patreon supporters, Super Chat supporters, Discord members, all you guys. I really do appreciate you. You make all this possible. And, of course, sponsors like Direct Service Overhead, Apex Tattoo Studio, and The Odd Soul. Without all you guys, none of this is possible. So happy Valentine's Day. Oh, thank you. Hey, Ty. What's up, Philip? How you doing, man? It's all love, my overweight teddy bear. Okay. Again, appreciate you. We will be. I don't know what Wednesday's going to look like as far as being live on Wednesday. At the moment, it's going to be a recorded event. Probably going to release the interview to Patreon members first. That's the idea. But it also could just turn into a live event anyways. So we'll have to wait and see. And, of course, we'll be live Friday. I will be live for the postgame show as well after Texas A&M. Big game. Arkansas, we already kind of know what A&M's up to. We talked about them in our last preview, the last time Arkansas matched up against A&M. We kind of went over that a little bit. But I don't right now expect Arkansas to win this game. But I still think they have an opportunity to get into the tournament despite this loss. How exactly, I don't know. But I think, of course, you got to take care of business. Listen, if you lose to A&M and then you split Florida and Georgia, oh, God. Then I don't know, man. Then I feel like you kind of have to win the SEC championship in the tournament. I don't know. I really don't know. It's you got to take it a game at a time. Hopefully they prove me wrong. I do think Arkansas is a little bit of a mismatch for A&M, but it's a hornet's nest. They're going to be ready for Arkansas. This is a big game for them just as much as it is for the Razorbacks. So at the moment, I'm taking A&M. No idea on a score. But I will see you guys on the postgame show. If not, maybe sooner that Wednesday. I'll try to keep you guys up to date. All right? Woo pig, and I'll see you guys soon.